Greetings, BArcadians, and welcome to another edition of the BA News Show with me, Tabs, and my co-host and co-gamer, Rich. You want to say hello, Rich?
Hello.
So, yeah, we've got another episode for you this week, fairly rammed as well, plenty of stories to go through. We're going to be talking The Last of Us Part 2, we're going to be looking at Cyberpunk 2077, we're going to be talking about Nintendo and a leak, and then we're going to be talking very much about next gen. So we've had a big reveal today and something earlier on in the week as well, Lord of the Rings related. But Rich, before we dive in, do you want to tell us what you've been up to this week in the world of gaming?
So much like last week, I have been playing more God of War. I finished the story of God of War on the weekend, so that's all done and dusted. And I'm now on to end game stuff. I've decided I'm going to try and 100% the game, and I'm currently working on some collectibles. And then, and hopefully on the stream, you'll see me trying to tackle the remaining Valkyries that I've got.
Fantastic! Yeah, I'm looking forward to a bit of capture on that front, hopefully, Rich, so I can join the fight with you.
Definitely. And what about you, mate?
Just retro gaming, to be honest. As you know, I'm trying to set up this Pi, so I've just touched base with a couple of old retro games, some 64 games specifically, which has been fun. A little bit frustrating though with the Pi. It's a minefield, as I'm sure a lot of you retro Pi experienced vets will appreciate. So any help at all, we've reached out to Glenn already. Yeah, please keep it coming. But should we push this on, Rich, into the first story, which is Last of Us Part 2 related? So, we reported last week all about the recent spoilers and leak that's out there. But a little bit more positive, we've actually had a trailer drop this week, which was yesterday, wasn't it, Rich? Was it the 6th of May?
Yeah. Yes, it was, yes.
So a short little trailer. Certainly from what I saw, it looked very interesting. Exciting. I think the gameplay itself, the graphics, all looks, to be where we want it to be. In terms of details from the trailer, and I don't know spoilers as such. Well, in fact, Rich, do you want to tell us a little bit about the trailer in terms of what you saw, what you think it depicted?
Oh, yeah, I would say it seems a lot darker than from what I've played with the first one. I don't know what you thought on that. Like, everything seems to be, much more on top of you and on top of Ellie as a character, which was interesting. I think it's hard to know the timeline on these trailers. I think they've got a little bit Death Stranding on us, haven't they? So what's currently happening? What's a flashback? What's a flash forward sort of thing? Because it seems like Ellie is on some sort of ruthless revenge mission, but why? We've seen a previous trailer where she's obviously in a relationship with a girl, and that's everything seems rosy. So does this come after that? Does something happen to that girl? I don't know. This
is it. We see a lot of stuff out of context, as we usually do in a trailer. So Joel seemingly at the start setting the tone, and then, as you say, moving on to Ellie, this hell-bent revenge mission. Sort of seems at one point she gets brutally beaten herself, and that sets her on this mission, which she looks pretty badass, to be honest. So, yeah, interesting stuff. I'm sure a lot of people out there know a lot more about it because they've looked at the spoilers, but we're still trying to preserve its sanctity at the moment, aren't we, Rich? But do you want to?
Yeah, one thing I did take from that trailer was they showed a shot of the table where you customize weapons and you can craft bits of weapons, and I thought that's interesting. There, obviously, that's a nod to say that we'll be back in this game.
Yeah, definitely, and it looks a bit more in depth as well, doesn't it? So that will be interesting to see. But yeah, certainly, as Druckmann's come out and recently said, it is care and attention is as far as the eye can see. It looks absolutely slaved over in terms of the developer input in that. So can't wait to play it. But do you want to move us on, Rich, into the next piece?
Definitely. So on the back of I don't really know where I'm going with that, but basically some news has come out about Cyberpunk 2077. If you haven't seen it, Tabs has done an unboxing of a Johnny Silverhands, is it, Tabs?
Indeed, and I'll help you out. This is on the back of the ratings for the game, which is basically giving us some clues into what the content is like. Is it the ESRB, I think it is? Yeah, the ESRB. They've rated the game and they've spilled the beans on a few. Well, so we should say potential spoilers of Arcadians if you really want to preserve all the surprises in Cyberpunk 2077. But Rich, tell us, what do we know now?
So we've heard from this rating, as you said, which they've given it a mature rating. You're going to see blood and gore, intense violence, nudity, strong language, strong sexual content, and use of alcohol are all reasons why this has gone to a mature rating. According to ESRB, which is the people who give the ratings, customization can include depiction of breasts, buttocks, and genitalia, as well as various sizes and combinations of genitalia, which is interesting.
This is it. We used to design your own characters at the start of these RPG epics, but I've not played one yet where you get to choose and customize your bits, your knackers, essentially. So, yeah, it'd be interesting to see. I mean, I wonder if there'll be some kind of LGBT vibes in there, so you can really kind of mix things up wholesale, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I would say so. It's great that, you know, there's this opportunity to be literally whoever you want to be in this game. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's good to be you know, culturally open in that way, and you know, to give people absolute creative freedom, because yeah, we're in a new age, new society, and yeah, it's not just a binary choice, is it anymore?
Absolutely.
So yeah, it looks interesting and revs the engines, doesn't it, for Cyberpunk 2077? I think, is there a trailer drop inbound as well, we think, Rich?
Yeah, a bit of an interesting one. There's like a picture been released that sort of suggests, I think the 11th of June, tabs, I've got that in my head.
I forget the date, to be honest, but yeah.
But yeah, I think something around there, and it doesn't say what it is. It's literally almost just like a poster, and we had a conversation about it to say whether we thought it might be another trailer, but we thought that was a long time out. So whether that's something different that's coming down the line or not, it's interesting. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see on that.
Yeah, eager. Plenty to play in between time, but yeah, always eager for Cyberpunk. It looks to be a major killer app this year. But right, what we got next then, Rich? So next up, we've got Nintendo, and essentially an internal, a massive data breach. So I've pulled this from GameSpot, and essentially we've got over 2 terabytes worth of internal data that's been leaked. So this includes source code and documentation for the Wii and other consoles, early N64, tech, demos, and much more from the sounds of it. So yeah, I mean, it's really not a good sign, is it? We've heard obviously leaks from the likes of Naughty Dog, a big boy in the gaming industry, and now Nintendo, who, I don't know about you, Rich, but you always seem to think Nintendo are pretty much squeaky clean and have the lid ratcheted down, but not in this case.
Yeah, I mean, it's a shame. I mean, someone's definitely kicking themselves currently on both of these stories of leaks. Obviously, the Last of Us one is especially damaging for that product, because it basically gives the game away on where the story's going. And a lot of the information that was leaked here, I guess, is older property. So N64 tech demos, stuff to do with the Wii. So I think they'll be more bothered about the fact that someone's managed to get in and steal this or take this information out or away than they are about necessarily what is in this, just because it's not like it's stuff they're working on for like the next generation or whatever. But yeah, it's a worrying time at the moment, and I do hope this is not a sign of things to come, and all games and media and stuff starts getting leaked early doors, and we have to watch spoilers aplenty all over the place.
This is it. I mean, I suppose if you're a tech enthusiast, then it's really good, because, and especially for, well, we're trying to program a 5.4 as we speak, aren't we, Rich? So if you're into your emulators and all of the goings on behind the scenes, I think this is potentially a bit of a breakthrough, isn't it? For getting the source code for consoles and things like that. So we might see some breakthroughs there. I mean, I suppose in terms of preserving the history of consoles, it's also very interesting to see the ins and outs. But yeah, from Nintendo's point of view, massive data breach. They need to be battening down the hatches, don't they, to make sure this doesn't become a thing, a popular trend, I suppose to say. So yeah.
And the other thing to note is 2 terabytes of data to be like downloaded, from a hack. That's a massive amount of data. That is days and days worth of downloading. So this is an attack that's gone unnoticed for a good period of time.
Yeah, this is it. And I think it's a case of in through the back door, isn't it? From some of the articles I've read. I don't know the exact details on how it was done, but yeah, either way, bit of a concern. Hopefully Nintendo invest in shutting that door.
Absolutely.
Do you want to move us on, Rich, though, to the, with the final piece, bit of a combination piece this last bit.
So you'll have to take, I'm not sure on this one, Tabs, you'll have to take the first part of this one, I think, and I'll take the second part.
Yeah, well, essentially, it's really a bit of a next-gen reveal week. So earlier on in the week, we saw that a Lord of the Rings Gollum game, which was announced back in March 2019, was announced by, I think it's Daedalic Entertainment. And essentially, we've seen some screenshots emerge this week, which has given us our first real taste of next-gen gaming. This was reported in the Lad Bible, where I've taken it from. And I don't know if you've seen them, Rich, but from the screenshots... I
haven't seen, no.
It looks okay. I mean, I would say when you see the more zoomed-out environmental shots, you can really tell that the lighting is very nice. The richness and depth involved, probably because of the lighting, does feel next-gen, or feels different, better, more improved. But when it comes to, I would say, the geometry of the landscape, the environment, the character models, it's not a million miles away from current gen. So, yeah, I think there's a mixed reaction there that, yeah, it doesn't look too bad. And, it's nice to see what next gen, or a glimpse into next gen. But at the same time, it doesn't feel like a massive mic drop in terms of, the impression. But then again, this studio, Daedalic Entertainment, it's not like, I don't think they're necessarily a AAA development studio. So, but Rich, take us away into what we've, breaking news for this recording.
I think it's very, very interesting you say that. Story of two halves almost, on the face of these screenshots that you've seen, I've not seen these, they, on the face of it, they look impressive, but if you look a bit more granular, they could genuinely be from this generation. Well, today, a couple of hours ago, we had an Xbox Inside event where there was roughly, I would say, 30 minutes of sort of news and game announcements and footage from new games, all based around the new Xbox Series X. And the event starts with a game called Bright Memory Infinite. And I'll be honest, I got goosebumps from that. It looked incredible. The lighting, and I thought, wow, if this is next gen, we'll take some of this. Honestly, it looked incredible. And the gameplay that was going on, and the fast motion, and the blurring of motion, it was incredible. So I thought, okay, this is a good start. But from that point on, it seemed to, I wouldn't say go downhill, but left me wanting more, I guess. They showed Dirt 5 by Codemasters. And unfortunately, I thought that looked good, but I didn't think it looked too far away from the current Forza Horizon, which is obviously a current generation game. They showed us, what else did they show us? They showed us an interesting game that I would say has a real Silent Hill theme to it. Tabs, what did you make of that game?
Yeah, I did manage to grab a little snippet of that. Medium, I think it's called, isn't it? And the sound immediately just made me think Silent Hill. And then obviously it was announced as a psychological horror game. And I think even, did you say before this recording, Rich, that it's actually got the composer from Silent Hill working on it?
I'm fairly certain that's what they said, yes.
So for me, I mean, that was my moment. I've been wanting to see a next-gen Silent Hill, and we've heard plenty of rumours. So even if we don't get that now from Konami and Kojima, well, at least there's something of a spiritual counterpart in this medium game. And then apart from that, it was Assassin's Creed Valhalla I managed to catch a glimpse of. And again, Rich, I just felt they didn't make the best job of actually showing us gameplay. It looked very much like a cinematic trailer still to me.
Yeah, I mean, it was really interesting. They made a roll of big bones. That's the first gameplay you're going to see from the new Assassin's Creed Valhalla. And I thought that's really interesting because although I'm fairly confident and everything they showed was from the in-game engine, it wasn't specifically showing gameplay, I would say. It was showing the cinematic shots of someone playing the game. And I felt like it was sort of blurring the lines a little bit there. And don't get me wrong, it looked great, but what I wanted to see was someone actually playing the game.
Yeah, behind the character shot, over the shoulder, so you can really get a sense of how it feels. I think that would have been nice. But, you know, if it's all in game, as you say, Rich, it did look beautiful. No doubt about it.
Absolutely. And then for the rest of the event, there was some interesting looking games. There was a game that looked a lot like, I thought, Astral Chain. The name of it didn't stick with me, so I can't tell you what that is. And then, yeah, just lots of other bits and bobs. The new NFL game, which I thought that impressive. I was expecting something like that to look incredible. So few things on screen on a game like that. You think that you could make that look incredible, but I didn't think that looked amazing. Obviously, early in development, that one. I guess ultimately I felt like I was left wanting more, but then some of the items that I saw I thought looked really, really good. So, yeah, mixed bag.
I think as well, what we have to remember is, you know, with these new launch games for next gen, there's always going to be, you know, a case of these developers, especially if they're not necessarily big developers, they're going to be trying to hedge their bets. So they're going to be making sure that they can straddle both generations, aren't they? Which,
absolutely,
depending on how good they are at scaling those, you know, those properties, I think it can hold back, can't it, them achieving the peak performance of the next gen console. So I'm not overly worried by the fact we've not been blown away by it. But at the same time, yeah, I do hope, well, you know, to be honest, Rich, if we are expecting a response from Sony, which you would say, surely, you know, it would be a good move, make business sense to might drop the Xbox. Well, there's not been a great deal there to blow them away. I think they're, you know, Sony are teed up to really hammer something home.
Now, the only caveat I will say to that is we do need to bear in mind that these are all third-party studios. All of the games that we showed were third-party studios. And obviously, they're saying in the next sort of month and a half, you're going to see lots from their first-party developers. Now, I think that's when we'll see a real step, because they'll probably have more time with the consoles in development. So I think that's interesting note, just a little like asterisk to say against those games.
Yeah, definitely, mate. I mean, just to say, you've lost my feed there. I've had a bit of technical difficulty there. But no, absolutely, mate. I think that's spot on. And that's probably a nice way to finish it then, Rich. Is there anything more you wanted to say?
No, I think we're all good. Watch out in the next coming days if you want to take a watch of me attempting to wrap up 4 Valkyries and whatever comes after that on God of War, and we'll see you soon.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much for tuning in, everybody. Please like the video to help and grow and support the channel, and make sure you subscribe if you aren't already. Ring that bell for notifications. And I think that's about it, Rich. Another one for the archives.
Stamped and completed.